just creating the teddy. So going to get my brown. Again, this is a modeling paste, but it's a mix of the two modeling pastes from Saracino. Okay, so this is a mix. It's both of them Saracino modeling paste, but I had a skin tone. Sorry, after I call it skin tone for about 15 years, it's very hard to swap now to, I don't even know how it's called, rose something. And the chocolate from Saracino, because that chocolate is a really kind of dark brown. So I wanted something a little bit lighter. So I've literally just mixed like half. So I don't want this to be super flat, thin rolled, but I don't want it too chunky, somewhere in between. So I'm going to stretch it to the point that I can actually cut the biggest part of the body. I don't think I'm going to stress too much on making the cutting out the arms, just the body. So that would be just fine. It's a bit thicker, but not super thick. Okay, just going to get my teddy. Now, I've mentioned about not doing the arms. I can do the arms separately. So I can just cut the arms. Or even if I don't cut them completely, I can just separate them from the body. And I would do the same, for example, if I would like to make a cookie. You know, a royalized cookie, I will royalize the base of the cookie, then I will just put the template. I will highlight the shape of the body, and then I will just pipe and start decorating. That's going to give me, you know, all the details I need. But in here, I'm going to use this over the paste. Okay, and I can just press a little bit. And that I should highlight in here so that I can see where I'm going to cut. I'm going to get my extractor knife. Now, if you want to roll the paste thinner and then build up, that's no problem. If you want to use the template, highlight on whatever surface you're going to use, on the fondant or on the cake card, and then build up after. Again, that's going to be fine. Okay, it's quite a rough cut, but that's no problem because I just want to smooth the edges. I want to, smooth them and round them at the same time. Excuse me. And I'm going to use some paste. I've got the biggest amount of pink here. I'm going to use pink. It doesn't really matter which one I'm going to use. So I'm going to get a blob of pink so that when I will press this over, it will just give some volume to the face. But it will not be the full round head. It will be just half of the head. Yep, So all I have to do is just to smooth, but I'm going to smooth it here and then transfer it onto the board rather than messing the whole thing, because that's quite fresh. And then I've got this as a guide, so I'll just look at it and then make sure that I'm literally just following. I can even just place this on top of my template and then just make sure that it goes perfectly if I really want to be super picky, which is not the case. This is what I'm personally missing, the fact that I don't aim for perfection. Good enough, it's good enough. Okay. Indeed, my understanding of being good enough, it's somewhere here. Yeah, but it's just good enough, so I don't intend to just go over the Okay, now with the ears, we can do the same thing we did with the girl, or we can just build up on top of what we've got already here. Okay, so what I'm going to do it slightly different, because obviously I want you to see a different way to do it. So I'm going to thin the ears, make them a little bit more flat. Okay. Just so silly, I didn't get any knife with me today. So at this point, yeah, it looks more like a mini Mickey Mouse type of head. Okay, but I just want to make sure that the ears look round, the head is round. Then if I want, you notice in here it's got a bit of a stitchy thing, and it's got a bit of a texture that can be achieved by using something sharp. So I can go around and start spending the whole evening just making this texture. It looks really good, but you do have to have the time to do it. So we don't have that sort of time. But it looks quite good if you go around and start creating that texture. No. I'm not going to stress too much, but I'm going to put a bit of a stitchy design in here, right here. Okay, good. Now, if you are not too sure where to put the eyes, you can literally drill through the to your template. Okay, and then you place this over, and you get something to mark. And then you know where to place the eyes, so that you get them in line and they're not too high, not too low, whatever. And I'm going to use 2 sugar pearls. Just going to try and find something similar. Those are the PME sugar pearls. But obviously, if you want to use like fondant, 2 pearls of fondant. In here, I'm going to pop the tool and enlarge to make sure that the eyes will fit in. And they do look a little bit too bulky, so I'm going to press them down a little bit more so that they don't look too scary. At this point, they do look quite scary. Okay, now I have to put the muzzle. And what I've noticed, if I look in here, the distance between the eye and the top of the head is a bit longer than I've got in here. So if I start stretching a little bit to enlarge that, maybe just pop a little bit more paste underneath, I should kind of correct this bit. And we do the stitchy bit. Good. Push down the eyes. And now get the paste to put the muzzle. That's a much larger piece of paste than it was on my little teddy girl. So I'm going to get this bit and see if it matches. Okay, so that's pretty much what I need. So, ball shape, which has to be flattened. Now, this is not elongated. It's kind of roundish at the top, roundish at the base, but don't know how it's called.
Oval.
The curve is different.
Oval.
It's not oval. It's not oval. No, because if you look, that has the shape of an oval, but that has the shape of a circle. So it's kind of a mix. I don't know. Probably in mathematics it does have a certain name. I don't know it. I'm not good in mathematics. The egg shape would be odd shape. Okay. So I'm going to set now the muzzle again. I have to make sure that it is kind of just below the eyes, you see. Okay, so I have to go just below the eyes and put that bit and set it right here. Okay, and then just soften. When you use the chocolate modeling paste, the Saracino one, you don't actually need not even Trex. It just sticks on its own. It's very, very convenient to use. Also, if you make a mistake, you can use a brush and smooth you with your finger. Super, super forgiving. Okay, and at this point, I have to put the muzzles, the little nose on the muzzle. So again, just going to do the same thing, and it's elongated. Then going to get my dark brown. Get the nose, little sausage. I think if I put it black, it's going to look a little bit better. Yeah. Super cute. Yeah. And then I have to again put that little bit just underneath. Okay, and silly me, you know that there is in fact it might be a bit too deep. There is one of the PME tools, it's like a smile.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but I think that's a little bit too deep, so I would prefer to go for the spoony end of the Dresden tool. So I'm going to pop this just right below and push in and just drag this a little bit away so that I can fit the tongue. It's not a tongue, it's actually just the back of the mouth, but we'll put a tongue. Why not? Can be a little bit different with that tongue being stuck on the side here. Yeah, so a tiny piece of pink. Oops. And going to flatten. Usually if I use this tool to create the shape, if I get the tongue a similar size, it should fit nicely. But I prefer it this way. And I can go in here. But I think it's sticking the tongue out a little bit too much. Okay. So what I'm going to do, just to cut some of the tongue away. And just to say, shut up. Keep your tongue. Okay.
It was just teeth came in.
Okay. Didn't want to show like a tongue, but just a settled one. Okay. Good. But it does also have some moustaches. But to make those moustaches, let's see if I can get. That's going to be a challenge. It's not just. It's just not just the eyes. It's also my hand, which quite often shakes. I've got here some colored cocoa butter. I also color cocoa butter. I set it. Okay. Just trying to get, say a prey, and then start painting. Okay, let me see if I can highlight a little bit. You shouldn't, you know. I said my idea about good enough is good enough. It's not quite. Okay, just going to try and see if I can. if I will spoil it or if I will make it look good. I think it's a bit too much. It looks like it's got mustaches. I'm going to push the corners in so that I can correct my mistake. A little bit too much. I didn't want it to get that kind of effect, but it will do for now. As I said, if you can spend the whole day just making those little bits. Now looking at the body, now the body in here is quite chunky comparing with what I've got here. So I can stretch this a little bit more. Highlight the neck, so anyway I'm going to put him up a little bow and just stretch this. So say for example, if you don't want to use a particular color, you can always just use a thin layer and just pop underneath the color which you might have in excess, or you use the modeling paste on the top but then you use like fondant underneath. That's also okay. And in case that you think, oh, but this is a bit too slim, I want it a little bit more bumpy, you add another layer on the top. It's quite a bit forgiving. Okay, going to roll it into a ball shape. Just try to get this. Literally like a flat egg. But what I have to do is just to go over and literally just cover this. Okay. And I think at this point I can transfer it on the board. So if I get some tracks, just to put some in here. I can transfer it right here. Okay. I also have to consider that the upper part should be a bit flat and the tummy can be more pronounced, so I can stretch this down. I'm also going to make the feet or the pose like standing away so that I can put 1 or 2 balloons as well. And that's kind of similar with modeling. You have to keep smoothing. I'm also going to round in here, just kind of separate a little bit the head from the ears, as I'm going to put another layer on the ears. So just marked, the head is normally round. And if I just go in here and just press, I can already shape the ears, but if I want them to look even better, I can put another layer. That's good. Now I have to put this kind of apron, and I'm going to use the same light color. And go into, you can practically just cut out an oval shape. I'm going to just roll the oval, then start stretching, because I don't have any cutters with me. I think I do have a round one. Okay, that should be just enough. And I'm going to make some rough edges, so just going to put some fringes in here. I don't care too much about the top, as the top is going to be covered with that little bow, so it's mainly the rest which I want to kind of look similar. Then with my stitchy tool I will go through the center. Okay, now I think I'm going to trim his legs, poor Teddy. Stop the cruelty. Stop the cruelty. Okay, what I'm going to do using those, I will literally create 2 little bowls, and then I'm going to kind of make them more like ovals and flatten so that I can put them like that. This looks a little bit too small comparing with the other, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. And again, I can put some tracks to stick, or I can just press. So the reason why that looked a little bit smaller is that when I cut a little bit less on here. So just going to place this in here, and this in here. See. Okay, and then going with my lighter paste again. Just elongate a little bit and then just cut in half, and then take each and flatten. Just try to make them to look the same as they are right on the front, and they might be quite visible. And I can stick them right here. But they would stick without me putting anything. This is it, the paste. If you've used it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a very good paste. Good. Now with the arms, super easy. And if you're not too sure about what size you should use, just get a piece of paste, put it next to the figure, and just get, you know, to replicate the size and the shape. So, and it's easier to get the second one starting with the same amount of paste. So if you've got a small scale, I usually use a small scale, and I intend to, especially when I teach or record a video to upload, I stick a label on the back of whatever template I use and just write down the quantity. So the next time, if I never go back to do it, but yeah, theoretically, if you want to do the same thing, you already have everything scaled, so don't have to say, oh, how much should I put? 10 grams, 12 grams. Okay, so I've got those little blobs. So all I have to do is to elongate, but I'm going to go for more than just a teardrop shape. So start like a teardrop shape. Okay, but from here, I want to push down so that the end works pretty much like a baseball bat. Yeah, because you've got this bit a bit wider and the end a little bit thinner. You can even use one of those Dresden tools to highlight. Again in here. And you get them to look similar. Okay, and then still got some tracks in here. So I'm going to stick that on the side. And yeah, one of the arms, just looking at the length, yep, it's the same. And get the other one in here. It's just that sometime when you transfer the information from a flat design onto a real design, you have to adapt. So you might have to stretch a little bit so that it shows that it's got the length on the photo, because you have to allow for like a 3D. Okay, so you might have to stretch a little bit so this part, yeah, okay, good. Now we'll have to put, what do we have to put now? It's got some eyebrows. I'm going to paint those like 2 little comas just above the eyes, of course. Okay, my hand is so shaky, so shaky. Okay, so put the eyebrows. It does have a little bit of hair right on the top, so I'm just going to make it a cluster of hair, just pinching. Bits. Oops. Okay. This, if I make a hole, should be able to get this stuck just a little bit more. Now this paste intends to get super soft if you keep working with it, because the heat of your hand, you will just start melting that chocolate. If that happens, just get another piece of paste and leave that one on the cold surface, and you will set. Yeah, but just a little bit of, add a bit of personality to it. Now with the ears, I'm going to get 2 tiny pieces of my watch is gone. 2 tiny pieces of light color paste. I'm going to flatten those so that I can insert them into the ears. And here I think it's a darker color, but I'm going to go to with a lighter color because, oops, I've pressed too much in here. I've got the pose made with a lighter color. Okay, so I'm just going to get them around. Nice. Then the bow. Just first of all, have to put like kind of a collar around the neck, which can be a string of paste. I'm going to cut it and push it right there. Then 2 tails. So again, trying to make them all by hand without using any kind of cutter. So I'm going to flatten those 2 dwarf shapes and going to push in on the ends. Okay, like one tail. Okay, and then the others will just separate where you've marked, and then just pinch Okay, those will have to be attached in here. Very easy, as the paste will just literally just stick on its own. Okay, going to put a bit of movement in here so they don't look quite. Okay, and then I've got two loops. One. Another one, just two teardrop shapes, which will be stuck. And then with another piece of paste going over. A bit more basic type of bow than I've made on calling for a coffee or okay, just going to get this sorted. Okay, some tricks. Stuck that in here. Okay, so that's going to be the little bow. Okay, and now to make I'm only going to make a balloon. If I can find my black, just going to get like a string. Just keep stretching. Put that into his arm. Get that stuck in here. And pushing down a bit too big. And make a blue balloon. Of course, just get a piece of paste. Start with a ball shape. Then make it more like an elongated shape. Flatten. The top has to be a little bit more stretched than the base. So just going to pull this away. Looks pretty much like a balloon. Okay, but again, to give it a bit more body, I'm going to place a little bubble underneath. And right here at the base, I just need to add like a triangle. So just a teardrop shape, flatten with one end. Okay, good. Yep, so that's the little teddy. Okay, and now just to kind of get how to transfer it, let's see if that's going to come out from here. Okay. Just going to get the. Oops. Because the gummy is so light. Okay. Yeah, gets on the side. So that's the reason why I say it's super versatile, as you can make it far in advance, and then you just sets nicely. You can put as many balloons as you like, and then you just transfer it with ease. Yeah. Good. So two kind of ideas, different ways to do it. Yeah. You obviously have to spend more time if you do it more intricate. But I hope you enjoy it. Yeah.